Good morning, and welcome to everyone here who's joined us in person as well as those online. If you are online, we ask that you leave a message so that we can acknowledge your presence. And thank you for joining us, and we'll hope you'll return time and again. My name is Deborah Covington, and I am your host today. Please stand and join us in our opening song, Use Me. Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, and God's so much more than the earth and the stars and all of creation. God is creator, all in all, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Command my hands, what must they do? Command my life, it's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me. Oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Thank you. You may be seated. As I said, my name is Deborah Covington, and I am your host today. I want to thank Reverend Jorge for facilitating our pre-service meditation today. Thank you, Reverend Jorge, for your consistent service. And let me tell you a little bit of something about CLF. First, I want to recognize if you are a first-time guest online, please go to our website and sign up on our emailing list where you will receive weekly information from CLF about everything that's going on there. Thank you for joining us. Creative Living Fellowship is an independent religious science church, and we honor all paths that lead to truth. Our deep intention here is to be a community of love, care, and connection that opens hearts, expands consciousness, and transforms lives. And we do that through the principles and practices of science of mind and spirit. The science of mind is a new thought, ancient wisdom teaching that provides us with tools for living our best possible lives. Our founder, Ernest Tong, said, I live in the faith that there is a presence and power greater than I am that nurtures and supports me in ways I cannot even imagine. Let's breathe those words in. Today, practitioner Elena Larner is holding high watch for us, which means that she is sitting in meditation and prayerful contemplation, holding the space for the perfect unfoldment of this service. Thank you, Elena, for your consistent service. Fran Peck is serving as our practitioner of the day, and she will be offering our evocation. That will be followed by our congregational chant, The World. And I want you to think about the words as you're singing them. They are very meaningful and powerful words. And as we sing those, we bring those into our heart as well, too. So that will be led by our musical inspiration today, which is Victoria Fairclough. The words will be on the screen. Following the chant, practitioner Fran will return again with our inspirational reading of the day. And now I'd like to invite up Fran Peck for our evocation.
So let's just turn within. In gratitude, recognizing that one power, that one presence, that one life, that one love, that one peace. Knowing that this life is my life and the life of each of us. Knowing that it lives, moves, and has its being and expresses uniquely and individually as me and as each of us. So knowing this truth, I speak my word of blessing for this service. I speak my word of blessing for this day. I know that it unfolds perfectly, divinely. I bless each person here and their service to Creative Living Fellowship, knowing that we are blessings as we are blessed. I bless Reverend Sherry and her message, knowing that we each receive that for which we have need, and that we follow that divine guidance and that divine inspiration. I bless teachers of truth everywhere, knowing that we are all one in the one mind of God. And I send special blessings around the world, anywhere where there is the appearance of discord, disharmony, anything unlike peace. I know that the peace and the power of God is present everywhere. And so for this knowing and for the perfect manifestation of this word spoken, simply release my word and allow it to be. And I say, thank you, God. And so it is.
The world is a place of great love for all. The world is a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. The world is a place of great peace. I am a place of great love for all. I am a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. Oh, I am a place of great peace. You are a place of great love for all. You are a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. Oh, you are a place of great peace. We are a place of great love for all. We are a place of great light for all. When all's said and done, we're all from the one. Oh, we are a place of great peace. The world is a place of great peace.
Our reading this morning is Divine Forgiveness from Matthew 18, 21 and 22. And it's excerpted from the Science of Mind textbook, page 457. Jesus clearly explained the meaning of divine forgiveness. He said that we should forgive until 70 times 7. This is but another way of saying that forgiveness is eternal and ever available. What a load is dropped from personal responsibility when we realize that the eternal mind holds not against anyone. To those who feel that this is unfair, it would be a hard concept. What, says one, are not my virtues to be rewarded above those who have none? O foolish one and blind, what do you know about virtue? Has your life always been beyond reproach? Have you never fallen short of the divine calling? Who are you to point the finger of scorn at your brother or sister? The person who feels self-righteous, rise from his petty virtues, lives a life of self-delusion. Know this, virtue does not know that it is virtuous, and could it know, it would immediately become vicious. When we learn to put away our petty virtues with our petty vices, then shall we see clearly, not what either virtue or vice is, but what truth is. The mind which condemns understands not the truth of being, and the heart which would shut the door of its bosom to one who is mistaken strangles its own life, closing its eyes to a greater vision. The biggest life is the one which includes the most. Not that we foster vice or place a premium upon wrongdoing, but that we understand that the frailties of human nature and learn to overlook much. To him who loves much, much is forgiven.
It's the hardest thing to give away, and the last thing on your mind today. It always goes to those who don't deserve. It's the opposite of how you feel when the pain they caused is just too real. It takes everything you have to say the word forgiveness. Forgiveness. It flies in the face of all your pride. It moves away the mad inside. It's always anger's own worst enemy. Even when the jury and the judge say you've got a right to hold the grudge, whisper in your ear saying set it free. Forgiveness. 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 Show me how to love the unlovable. Show me how to reach the unreachable. Help me now to do the impossible. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. Help me now to do the impossible. Forgiveness. It'll clear the bitterness away. It can even set a prisoner free. There is no end to what its power can do. So let it go and be amazed by what you see through eyes of grace. The prisoner that it really frees is you. Forgiveness. 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 Show me how to love the unlovable. Show me how to reach the unreachable. Help me now to do the impossible. Forgiveness, I want to finally set it free. Forgiveness, and show me how your mercy sees. Help me now to do the impossible. Forgiveness, 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 forgiveness. Help me now.
Okay, I can do technology. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Virginia. It's good to see you. Yes. Oh, let's take a breath together. What a beautiful song. Thank you so much. I love that. That's kind of the message today. Forgiveness. 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 That's what we're talking about this month. Forgiveness, a new beginning. Forgiveness, a new beginning. That's our theme this month. Forgiveness, a new beginning. And forgiveness is a new beginning because what it does is it releases us from yesterday. It releases us from the past. Even if something happened 10 minutes ago, that's in the past. Even if something offended us, or someone offended us, or someone hurt us, or someone said something or did something 15 minutes ago, half hour ago, yesterday, last year, 20 years ago, all of that's in the past. And so what forgiveness does, it allows us to just open our hearts and to release the past, to let go of the past. It lets us begin again in each and every moment of each and every day, whenever we set our minds to forgive, set our intention to forgive, to be in a place of forgiveness, to be in an atmosphere of forgiveness, to live in that atmosphere of forgiveness, to live in that consciousness of forgiveness. That consciousness of forgiveness. And that's what we're going to be talking about all month, just being in that consciousness of forgiveness, being in that consciousness of letting go of the past. And as I said last week when we were talking about forgiveness being an act of love, and that the gift is the gift of love, and then forgiveness being an act of love, forgiveness is the way that we get to open up so that we can express that gift that has been given to us, so that we can accept that gift that has been given to us by letting go of grudges and resentments and guilt and regrets and shame and blame and all that stuff that we hold on to. And so I'd like us to really be in that consciousness, in that atmosphere of forgiveness throughout this month, and recognize that forgiveness is something that is not a one-shot deal. It's not something that we do just one time and then we're done. Wouldn't it be great if it happened that way? Life happens. Life shows up every day. Life is always happening. Life is always in session. And when life is in session, then things happen. And somebody says something, or somebody does something, or we do something, or don't do something that offends, or that hurts, or that steps on the toes, if you will, of somebody else, or somebody steps on ours. And when that happens, there's a forgiveness issue there. There's a forgiveness issue there. So what I'd like us to do is to become conscious of those things that alert us to the fact that there are forgiveness issues, that we're dealing with the forgiveness issue. When we are in the place of judgment, when we're in the place of blame, when we're in the place of resentment, when we are in the place, no matter what the other person did, so long as we are dealing with all those feelings, there's a forgiveness issue there. That's not to say that your feelings aren't justified. That's not to say that your feelings aren't warranted. And by all means, feel your feelings, whatever it is. If someone does something that offends you, that hurts you, feel that hurt, feel that pain, feel that sorrow, feel that sadness, feel that anger, feel all of that. Don't set up camp in it. Don't set up camp in it, but allow yourself to feel it. Don't do a spiritual bypass and move into God is all there is. No matter what somebody walks up and slaps you and you go, God is all there is. Well, yes, God is all there is. How do you feel about what just happened? What are you feeling right this minute? Yes, go to the truth of your being and what you know to be true, that God is all there is, and deal with what you're feeling, deal with what you're experiencing, and walk through that, because those are the things that get us hung up. Those are the things that get our hearts caught. Those are the things that create the thicket in which our hearts get caught, as Howard Thurman calls it, the thicket in which our hearts get caught. Those are the things that make us walk around with resentment, that wake us up at 3 o'clock in the morning, that keeps us from going to sleep at night. Those kinds of things are the things that we have to really be willing to, okay, this is how I'm feeling. What am I going to do about it? How can I let this go? How can I release this? How can I forgive the other person? Because I'm so angry right now that I don't know what to do. So if it's a feasible thing to do, talk to the other person. Go and not in a confrontational way, but just go and talk to someone and let them know how you're feeling about whatever they said, whatever they did, or whatever they did not say or did not do. But at least talk to the other person, because usually what we do, the first thing we do is call a friend, call a family member, and tell them about it. And then we tell them about it again. And then we tell them about it again. And then we tell them about it again. And we keep telling about it. And we keep talking about it. And we keep thinking about it. And the more we do, it's kind of like that rut. You know, I used to live in Ohio. And in the wintertime, I think I may have shared this with you guys before, but in the wintertime, when you get in your driveway and there's snow in the driveway and you're trying to drive through the snow, and your car gets stuck, and then you race the motor, and you race the engine, and the tire goes round and round, and it spins round and round because you're doing the same thing. You're racing the engine, and the tire's spinning in that same place, and it creates that rut. But that's what we get into when we start telling people the same story over and over, and when we tell ourselves the same thing over and over about what somebody did or what somebody did not do. And when we do that, we get caught in that rut. And forgiveness is the furthest thing from our minds. And then things start not going so well in our lives. Things start to kind of fall apart, or things start to get jammed up. We're not in the flow any longer, and we can't figure out what's going on. Why isn't this working? It used to work. Why am I having such a difficult time? Why is my money stream flow stopped up? Why are my relationships? Why is something happening with this relationship that I'm in? Why is my job not working so well? Why are people acting so strangely toward me? All kinds of things begin to happen. And what we don't realize is that forgiveness is the issue that's blocking. Forgiveness is the issue that's blocking. So be willing to open your heart, be willing to open up, be willing to let go. Be willing, as I said, to admit what you're feeling. If someone did something to offend you, talk to that person if it's feasible. If it's not safe to do, or if you can't talk to them, or whatever the case may be, of course, then you do the next thing. What do you do next? How do you let it go? How can you let it go? You may need help to let it go. You may need help to let it go. You may need help to release that constant reminder that's going on in your head of what happened or what didn't happen. You may need help over and over and over again. So talk to a minister, talk to a practitioner, talk to a counselor, talk to a therapist. It depends on how much difficulty you're having in letting go. It depends on how much difficulty you're having in letting go. Be willing to do whatever it takes so that you can free yourself up to live your own life and live your best life. Because forgiveness keeps us from being free. And remember that if we can remember that nothing is unforgivable unless we make it so. But sometimes we don't forgive people because what they did was unforgivable. Well, it's only unforgivable if we make it unforgivable. It's only unforgivable if we make it unforgivable. Everything is forgivable if we are willing to forgive and move on, because the only thing that's happening when we're not forgiving is we're tying ourselves into that same spot in the past. We're tying ourselves to that person that we're unwilling to forgive. That's what we're doing. And what we don't recognize is that, as I said last week, the other person's going on about their life. They don't even know you're upset, or they don't care that you're upset about something. And we still are stuck in the same place. We still are stuck in the same place. So I'm just saying today, free yourself up. Start all over. This is a new day, a new way, a new beginning. Allow forgiveness to be a new beginning in your life, and so that you can move forward and be all that you were created to be. Live the life that you want to live. That's what's important. That's what's important. Let's take a breath. One thing that I want us to keep in mind is that forgiveness, as I said, is not a one-shot deal. You know, we think that, okay, I've already forgiven that person. You know what? Sometimes it is a one-shot deal. Sometimes something happens, someone offends us, something hurts us, or whatever the case may be, and we move into a place of forgiveness and we let it go. We're done with it. More often than not, we're not done with it. We may be done with it in that moment, but then something happens to trigger us. A memory, a thought, a place that we go that reminds us of somebody, or when we see something, or whatever the case may be, something brings it up again. And all of a sudden, we're back in that same spot that we were before. It feels like the same spot where we were before of being angry, of being resentful, of being judgmental, of being blaming. And this can be, when I talk about blame, shame, and regret, those are self-forgiveness issues. But judgment and resentment, those are issues of forgiving other, issues indicating a need for forgiveness of other people. And so when we've done the forgiveness work, we have released it, we've let it go, we've moved on, and then bam, it hits us again. Wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and there it is. Or you aren't even thinking about the other person, and something happens. And it throws us right back into that place where we were. That same old feeling of hurt, that same old feeling of blame, that same old feeling of shame, that same old feeling of whatever it is that we're feeling before. And then when forgiveness comes up, when the idea of forgiveness comes up, our thought is, but I've already forgiven that. I've already forgiven them for that. I've been working with people and talking about forgiveness and working, having the forgiveness ministry for 25 years. And I have heard over and over and over again, I forgave them already. Well, then why are we sitting here talking about them right now? Why are you so upset right now if you've already forgiven them? And yes, we can forgive and be done with it right then and there. And we look up and things circle around, things circle around, things circle around, and all of a sudden we're right back where we were. It feels like we're right back where we were because we can't let it go. You know, I always analogize forgiveness to an onion skin. It's like peeling an onion. You peel the onion and everything gets really smooth, and then everything's fine. And then all of a sudden there's that little piece that sticks up at the top. And with that little piece that sticks up at the top, if you pick at it, then there's another whole layer of that onion skin that needs to come off. And you go ahead, you don't fuss about it, you just go ahead and pull that layer off until the onion is smooth again. And and it continues that way. So long as you pick at that little thing at the onion, then there's another whole layer that needs to come off. And sometimes you don't even see that little whatever that is at the top of it that you have to pull off. But all of a sudden, one day you see it, and it's kind of like forgiveness and a trigger. There's a trigger that happens, and you recognize that, oh my gosh, I'm feeling just like I was feeling before. I'm back in that place of anger. Why can't I let this go? Why can't I release this? I thought I had done it already. Well, you did at the level of consciousness where you were at that time. The important thing is, it doesn't matter how many times you've done it before, you have to continue to do it repeatedly, 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 until you can release and let go. That's how forgiveness works. It works with us deciding that, okay, this is back again. I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to release this. I'm going to do whatever it takes so that I can let it go. This is like peeling that onion again. And really what we have to do is to be aware and to be awake and to be conscious and to be mindful of when these issues do come up, because sometimes they come up and we don't even know because we aren't aware of what's going on in our heads. We don't even know why we all of a sudden feeling triggered, why we all of a sudden feeling anxious, why we all of a sudden feeling uncomfortable, why we all of a sudden feeling that something has disturbed our peace. And you know what? When we pay attention, when we have set our intention to be attentive to the need for forgiveness in our lives, to live a life in an atmosphere of forgiveness, then we can be aware all the time. We can be mindful all the time. We can know immediately, I need to do some forgiveness work. I need to do some forgiveness work. I need to do more forgiveness than I have done. I did a great job before, I let it go, and here it is again. And I have the opportunity to do it even deeper, even deeper, even deeper. I've had this experience many times in my life, many times in my life. And then the last time I had the experience, I had to have my practitioner on speed dial because things kept coming up. I thought I had let it go. I thought I had let it go. I'd wake up in the morning and there it was. And then I do the work. I do my own prayer work. I do my own spiritual practice. I do my own forgiveness practice. And then I could go 3 days. And there it was. Again, I'm thinking about it again, thinking about the other person again. I'm talking about the other person again. I'm holding on to some hurt or some offense or whatever. And that took a while for me to let that go. This was just the most recent thing, but I've had that experience throughout my life. And I think we all have, where we think we've let something go. We think that we have forgiven the other person. We think that we are just free and we're just going about our lives. And when we are, that's wonderful. And when we recognize that we're not, stop and do the work. You don't have to ask, how many times do I have to forgive? You have to forgive 70 times 7. That's what Jesus said. That means who's counting? You lose. I don't even know how many times 70 times 7 is. But however many times it is, it means do it until you're done. And you will know when you're done. You'll know when you're free. You'll know when you've let it go. You'll know when you've actually released whatever it is that you've been holding on to. When you can wake up and the person doesn't even cross your mind, or you can think about them or not think about them, or somebody can mention them, and your thought is, who? What? That's when you know you're free. That's when you know you're free, when you don't get that trigger, when you don't get that anxiety or whatever, or that anger or whatever it is that we get. And so the important thing, but the topic today, in case you didn't know, is when once is not enough. When once is not enough. When once is not enough for forgiveness, do it again. And then do it again. And then do it again. And then do it again. That's what we are required to do. That's what we are called to do. This is how love is. This is how we get to that place of love. This is how we get to that place of forgiveness, by just doing it over and over and over again, and recognizing that, again, that it's not a one-shot deal. It's not just something we do one time and then we can move on. And there are times when we can. There are many things, and it has never been a real hard thing for me to forgive. It's been pretty easy for me to move into forgiveness most of the time. There have been some really tough things that have come into my life and come into my experience that I've had a harder time to let them go. But the majority of the times I could just let things go. But when I have run into those things that are really hard, I had to really find a way to get to forgiveness. I had to really find out, how do I get to forgiveness here? Because this keeps coming up. And so that's the question I'm asking you to ask yourself. How do I get to forgiveness here? How do I get to forgiveness? It starts out with your spiritual practice. It starts out with you praying to release and let go of those things that would close your heart, praying for the help and the guidance that you need. But how do you get to forgiveness? And again, as I said, working with the practitioner, working with the therapist, working with a trusted friend, someone who's not going to co-sign everything you say, but someone who is really going to listen and support you as you walk through the process without going along with everything, agreeing with everything you're saying, so that you can start to get to that place where we are free and recognize that this is not, it's not a failure on your part when you find that you really you're not done with the forgiveness work. That's a part of the process. Forgiveness is a process. It's a process. It's kind of like that journey. It's not a destination. We have to always be walking in that place of forgiveness, walking in that intention to forgive. And when we can do that, then we recognize, oh, I need to do some more forgiveness work. Oh, I'm feeling all this shame about something that happened 20 years ago. Oh, I can let this go. Oh, how do I get to forgiveness on this so I can release it and let it go? Because once is not enough. And in many cases, once is not enough. Once is not enough. So what am I going to do now to let it go? And so that's my question for you this week. How do you reach that point in your life where you are willing to do the 70 times 7? To do the 70 times 7 and realize, who's counting? All I want is to be free. All I want is to be open-hearted. All I want is to have a life of peace. All I want is a life of peace, with peace of mind. All I want is a life of comfort and ease and flow, and to be in the flow. It requires us to take a deep breath. It requires us to take that breath so that we can return to our center and return to the source of our being, and allow ourselves to be guided and directed in a way that we will be guided to the right people. If we need to have the support of other people, we'll be guided to the right situation, to the right circumstance. But we got to be willing to be guided there. We got to be willing to let go before we're going to be guided to the place that's going to free us up. So I'm inviting you to recognize that, yes, you may have done this before. Yes, you may have forgiven that person before. Yes, you may have forgiven yourself before. But if you're walking around with shame and blame and regret and guilt and all that, about something that happened yesterday or something that happened 40 years ago or 20 years ago or however long ago. It's time to do the forgiveness work again. And I call it work because it is. I call it work because it is. Forgiveness is work, and sometimes it's hard work. It isn't always easy. It doesn't always feel good because there's that little part of us sometimes that wants to get back at the other person. We want to see them get theirs. And you know what? We got to be willing to let that go. We're not going to always see them get theirs, but you know what? One thing you can know for sure is that there's a law of cause and effect that is operating. And you may never see them get theirs, but for every cause set in motion, there's an effect. But we don't have to see the effects. We don't even have to want them to experience the effects. That's when we're in that place, and our hearts are caught up. When we want to see somebody get theirs, our hearts are caught up. We don't want to be caught up. We want to be free. We want to be in a place of ease and flow, and to allow love to just flow through. Allow love to flow through and trust the law that it is always working. Just like it works in our lives, it works in every life. It works everywhere. And so know that there's no failure on your part when you have forgiven somebody for something, when you've forgiven yourself for something, and then it comes up again out of nowhere. You didn't fail at it. It's just that it's time to peel that onion skin again, peel that layer of the onion again. Analogize it always. Go back to that onion and peel that layer. And once you peel it and it gets smooth, then you can go on about your life with ease and with flow. And then all of a sudden, there's that little peep thing that pops up. And you recognize, it's time to do that again. And then one day, you know what? It isn't. It's gone. It's gone. It's not. It doesn't affect you in any way. This is how forgiveness works. This is how healing happens. Because as we go through that process, healing is happening. Forgiveness is healing. It heals our sense of separation. It heals our sense of separation from each other. It heals our sense of separation from ourselves. It heals our sense of separation from God, which is the only thing that ever needs to be healed, is our sense of separation from God. And so when we allow ourselves to be in that place of forgiveness, of letting go of hurts and offenses and all that stuff that we hold on to, when we do all that, when we let go of all that, then we have moved into that place of healing. And when we move into that place of healing and allow that healing to happen, then the wholeness that already is can reveal itself in and through and as our lives. It can reveal itself as love. It can reveal itself as peace. It can reveal itself as peace of mind. It can reveal itself as joy. As joy. When did you last experience joy in your life? Joy and freedom. All of these things are the products of forgiveness, can be the product of forgiveness. But the thing that we have to recognize is that it's something we do over and over and over and over and over again, for as long as it takes, for as many times as it takes, and recognize that once is not enough. Once is not enough. And just say, yes, I'm willing. I'm willing. I'm willing to forgive. I'm willing to be free. I'm ready to be free. I am free. That's where we want to get to. I am free because I don't have all this stuff holding me back. That's your assignment for this week. Be free. Be free. And when you catch yourself in a moment when you're not, ask, what does it take for me to be free in this moment? Who do I need to forgive? What do I need to forgive? Do I need to forgive myself or what? And then do that. Just with a brief affirmation, I forgive myself for mistakes I've made. I forgive myself for mistakes I've made. No matter what it is, it was a mistake. If you weren't acting in your highest and best, it was a mistake. I forgive myself for mistakes I made. I forgive the other person for mistakes they made. We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes, even though we think they made more than we did. We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. and being willing to forgive ourselves and others for their mistakes is where we have to be each and every moment of each and every day if we want to be free and if we want to live our best possible lives and we want to be all that we were created to be and live in oneness with the all that is, living in oneness with each other, living in oneness with the entire universe. So I invite you, be free. Be free. Be free. Let's turn within this moment. And so just turning within in this moment, just knowing and sensing and feeling that presence that is my very life, that presence that is the only presence, that life that is the only life, that breath that is the only breath, this onlyness that is my life, this onlyness that is the life of each of us, that is the source of our being. Just tuning into that, connecting and aligning with that in this moment. I speak the word for each of us this day, a word of freedom. A word of freedom, daring to be free of old stuff, daring to be free of the past, daring to be free of hurts and offenses and harm and guilt and shame and blame and judgment and all that stuff. I speak a word of freedom for each one of us, the willingness to be free, the willingness to be free. And I speak a word as we let go of the resistance and let go of those things that would hold us back and just allow our hearts to be open and filled with love and peace and harmony and balance and joy and peace of mind, to be filled with the presence of God. And I know that as we are filled with that presence of God, we are guided and directed every step of the way, wherever we go, whatever we do. There's that divine guidance, that divine comforter that is always right where we are, always right where we are, always lifting us up, always loving us, always, always. And so we just open our hearts and accept this blessing this day, accept this healing this day that is happening for each one of us. I pause momentarily in this circle of prayer so that you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer this day. You may speak their names silently or loud, and you may speak them now. And so for all those whose names were spoken here this day, I know that God is in the midst of everything going on, every situation, every circumstance. God is in the midst. I know that in war-torn areas, God is in the midst. Peace is in the midst. I know that God is everywhere and that healing is happening everywhere. Despite any appearances to the contrary, healing is happening everywhere, for God is everywhere. And so I simply say, thank you, Father, Mother God, for the opportunity to forgive and to let go and to release and to heal and to be free. Thank you, Father, Mother God, for everything. All is well. All is God. And so it is.
God is where I stand. God is standing strong. Where I breathe, God is breathing life in and out and through me. Ask me where I sing, God is. Where I dance, joy lifts my feet. Where I live, beauty's flowing free, in and out and through me. Ask me where I doubt, God is the faith in me. my career and where I play. God is playing boldly in and out and through me as if where I am, where I stand, where I play, move and breathe, in and out and through. And where I sing, where I dance, wherever I go. God is, God is.
Wow. Let me catch my breath here. That was so beautiful. Oh, God is everything and everywhere. Yes, amen. Amen to that. Thank you so much, Victoria, for your music today. Very, very moving. And now is the time for us to participate in conscious giving. This is a time where we also participate in the divine law of giving and receiving by giving of our tithes and offerings. We invite you to join us in this sacred practice by tithing here at CLF. CLF is a tithing church, and we tithe to local nonprofit organizations that are serving our communities and making a real difference in the lives of people. Excuse me, I wipe my tears. I cry when I feel beauty deep inside. Our fourth quarter recipient of our tithe is Nourish Phoenix. They're a community hub that serves vulnerable individuals and families by offering resources and provide pathways to self-sufficiency. This is a very, very important organization, and we are honored and pleased to tithe to them. If you're online, you can click on the donate button on our website or on Facebook, or you may use your cell phone to text to give. The text to give number is 844-841-4360. If you're in person, you can also use text to give at any time as well too. For our in-person giving, we have an usher who will be making her way forward. And during that time of collection, of giving, of collecting your tithes and offerings, we will be singing I Trust in God, which will be led by Victoria.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I'm one in the spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I trust in God. I trust in God.
And as the usher comes forward, let us repeat our offering blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God. And so it is. And thank you, Fran, for serving today. Now, I'd like to invite up Nicole to do our announcements.
That was a long journey from the projectors to here. Okay, let's do our announcements. We have some very special ones in there for us. So we'll start with one that we are already familiar with, and that is our midday meditations that are Monday through Friday on our Facebook and YouTube live streams. And then we mustn't forget about Monday practice with Reverend Jorge at 6:30 p.m. Again, through Facebook and YouTube. Get your spiritual practice assignment for the week. Sorry, that confused me for a second. Get your spiritual practice assignment for the week inspired by Sunday service. Our community care and connection Zoom meeting with Reverend Sherry is every Tuesday evening at 6:30. This week, Reverend Sherry will be, what are you doing this week? Conscious conversation or visioning? Life's purpose visioning. She threw a dice in the air and then landed on that. So go ahead and join her and catch God's vision for your life this Tuesday, 6:30 in Zoom. Our 2023 special membership meeting will be held. We have such a good time here. Our 2023 special membership meeting will be held on Sunday, October 22nd, immediately after Sunday service here at Embassy Suites. If you're interested in serving CLF as a member of the Board of Trustees, please fill out the application on our website today. You can find it at the top of our website listed as BOT application. Also, CLF members, you received an email at the end of September confirming your membership. Please make sure that you respond to that and confirm it immediately. And that's it for that one. And then we have a workshop coming up on October 29th. And here's Reverend Dr. Jerry to tell us more.
Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. Jerry Troyer. I'm the president of the affiliated New Thought Network, Anson, of which CLF is a member. I've been in New Thought for about 30 years, and I love to talk about what we don't talk about. I love to talk about the process of forgiveness, about feeling and healing our grief and loss, and about being radically content, being, doing, and having enough. Many of us woke up this morning in a feeling of lack and struggle and scarcity and not enoughness. Didn't get enough sleep, didn't have enough coffee, don't have enough time, don't have enough money, don't have enough knowledge, don't have enough love. And we take that consciousness of scarcity with us throughout the day into our work, into our relationships, into our lives. But what if we are already enough? What if we've done enough? What if we have enough? Not to say that we don't want more, and not that we don't have our goals and our dreams, which are both wonderful, but can we come from that place of, in this moment, being, doing, and having enough? I hope you'll join me.
So go ahead and sign up today for this awesome workshop. We love it when Reverend Dr. Jerry visits us, and you can get The links are found on our website or in your weekly newsletter. And then after service, we have our practitioners available to pray with you. We have Fran Peck and Elena Larner. And don't walk around with a heavy heart. They are here to give you the gift of prayer. And if you don't want to stay for prayer, there is a prayer box. My brain stopped working. A prayer box out on the welcome table, and you can put in a written prayer request there, or you can send an email to prayer@creativelivingfellowship.com. Please put prayer request in the subject line, and the practitioners pray over that for 30 days. And then there's also fellowship after service at Tatum Grill just across the way. So you can hang out with Reverend Cherry and Fran and whoever else shows up. All right. Lastly, the office is closed tomorrow because it is in Indigenous Peoples Day. So we will be back in our office hours on Tuesday. And go ahead and email us and we'll get to you as soon as possible. All of the information for our events are on our website or on our weekly newsletter.
Thank you, Nicole. Just let's take a breath again. Seems like I need to breathe. Anyway, one thing that I'd just like to call our attention to that's coming up that will be announced next week and the week after is the animal blessing that's going to be happening on October 21st with practitioner and animal chaplain Fran Peck. That's really a great event that's going to be happening. So check our website and check your newsletter and check the flyers and check everything because that's happening on Saturday, October 21st. And bring your pets, your dogs, your cats. Just and just and in a container. If they're cats, they can be in a container. If they're dogs, they have to be on leash, and and have them blessed. And also there's a memorial, there's a pet blessing and a memorial service for I can't talk, but pets that have crossed the Rainbow Bridge. And it's a wonderful event that happens at a park, and I don't have the name of it right here, but I just wanted to call your attention to it, that it's going to be coming up. So check the website so that you'll know that that's happening a couple of Saturdays from now. Let's take a breath. The treatment for supply, I'm going to remind you to use that and continue to use it. Prayer for our country, use that. Those are our community prayers that we use, and we really need prayer for our country right now. We always do, but we really need it even more than ever right now. So let's continue to do that. Continue to connect with each other by phone calls and text messages or getting together if that's what you're doing in person now. And just to say, I miss you, I love you, and I want to see you, and I want to spend time with you, whatever it is you do to say to connect. Do that, please. And was there something else I forgot? Fellowship. Nicole mentioned that we'll be fellowshipping right across the hall right after, so I'd love to have you stop in with us. And I think that is all. If we will now stand for our closing affirmation and our closing song. Please repeat the affirmation after me. I forgive myself for mistakes I have made.
I forgive myself for mistakes I have made.
I forgive others for mistakes they have made.
I forgive others for mistakes they have made.
My heart remains open and free.
My heart remains open and free.
I am experiencing the love that is.
I am experiencing the love that is.
Therefore, something wonderful is happening in my life right now.
Therefore, something wonderful is happening in my life right now.
I know it.
I know it.
I sense it.
I sense
I
it.
feel it.
I feel it.
I thank God for it.
Thank God for it.
And thank you, God. And so it is.
So it is.
I release.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. Have a great week, guys.
Thank you all. I love you all. See you next week.